Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the entree musician, and so are you. And so is this wonderful young lady that we're going to have a great conversation with. Now, listen, you have heard of Patrice Rushen. No doubt you have heard of dear sister Olita Adams. You have heard of Diana Krall. You've heard of Michelle Indelichego. You've heard of Bobby Humphrey, but you've probably haven't realized that the first lady of smooth jazz is Gail Jhonson. And we are so delighted to welcome her to our platform today. She's done so much with so many. We're going to try to get in as much as we can. But here she is, Jazz in Pink, the first lady of smooth jazz, hands down, Gail Jhonson. How you doing, dear heart?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for that great introduction, Jerry.
Well, it's my honor, and I'm grateful to finally get to meet you, our dear sister Joy Spencer, wonderful
Yeah.
saxophonist from
Mm,
Texas. She
yeah.
has been telling us about Gail Jhonson for a few months now, as she is a regular panelist on Artist Impact, which you had an opportunity to just film the other night. So thank you
Yeah.
twice.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've been doing my thing since I was 10 years old. So I dare not put myself on the level of all the ladies you mentioned before, but, I'm forever humble. But, I love what I do. And, you know, I'm just glad to
Absolutely.
be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's so interesting to me, a question, because I've read your bio and I've seen the many different experiences you had. Did this young little 10-year-old Gail Jhonson know when she first sat down at the keyboard that this was her life's work? Was that
Yeah.
your passion all along?
Yeah, yes, yes. It's always been, I'm trying to get some better light here. Yes, it's
Uh-huh.
always been my passion. I knew from a young age that I wanted to play the piano. My grandmother had a ebony organ in the basement she had bought for my sister. But every time we go over there, I would go over there and turn and crank that thing up and get to just messing around. So it was years later that my sister reminded me that that mommy had bought me a one
Mhm.
of those toddler piano, grand pianos, and
Yeah.
then I vaguely remembered that. Yeah, so I think she was. I don't know how she knew, but she instilled that in me, and later on, when I got about 9 or 10, my friend, she was coming home from piano lessons. And I just had to do it. I was like, where have you been? She said, piano lessons. I said, piano lessons. Oh, you know. So
Right.
I ran home, mom, I got to take piano lessons. And so she rented me the piano and, got me all the
Wow.
books and all that good stuff. Yeah.
And you stuck with it. Now, was your
Yeah.
family musical? I understand that you have a lot of sisters. So was everybody
Yeah.
playing and singing, or?
No, no, nobody was playing and singing. I was the only one playing and singing. Now, my son, he went on to pick up music. And of course, my daughter, she went on to pick up music, but not in my immediate family. No, my dad, he used to sing. He sang professionally in a group.
Mhm.
And, my mom, she sang in a church choir, but
Yeah.
no one played an instrument. Yeah.
Wow. So you were the only one. Now, when did it
Yeah.
come about that you said, okay, this is going to be my career, my profession, and kind of the world opened up to you about the possibilities of playing professionally?
Well, I think once I started taking piano lessons at school, and I was
Mhm.
talking to my cousin, he was taking guitar, and he was like, "I'm gonna start a band." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So by the time I was 14 years old, we were rehearsing and getting little gigs around town, weddings and all kind of stuff, parties, and my uncle was the manager, and
Mm.
we called ourselves Natural Experience.
All right.
We got some of the guys from his high school and, a couple of guys in the neighborhood. And Jackie, she came along a little bit later and she sang. So we had a really, really dynamic group. And my cousin Tommy, he played saxophone.
Mhm.
So yeah, and so I knew then once we started playing Sly and the Family Stone and
Oh yeah.
yeah, we were trying to play Chicago and Blood, Sweat and Tears and those kinds of songs and but yeah, I knew then that this is what I wanted to do. Mhm.
Mm. And so your parents were nothing but encouraging, being that your father sang professionally,
Yeah,
and you had
yeah.
that wind beneath your wings then, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, my mother, she rented well, both my parents, they rented the piano. I had a spinet in the corner. While she was cooking dinner, I was practicing and I was going through book after book after book. And even after they split up, my mom managed to get me another keyboard.
Mm.
And then my uncle got me another keyboard. So the family was like, they saw that I was serious. And so they
Yeah.
supported me in every way they could. Yeah.
Well, how long did Natural Experience stay together? Was that a
Yeah,
long-standing band?
we stayed together for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and
Wow.
then I went off to Berklee College of Music because I knew that I had already knew how to read, so I knew how to read music and the notes and time signature and all that, but I didn't know enough. Everything else was by ear, so
Mm.
to play, Al Green or anything else. Earth, Wind, and Fire, that was all by ear. But
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't all quite the right stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed some professional training. And I decided to get on a train and ride up to Berkeley with a couple of my friends and check out the school and see what the vibe was and what was going on and if this was the place for me to be. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So I went on to graduate. I
Yeah.
studied composition. Yeah, and that was my major. So I really
Yeah.
enjoy writing now, yeah, and arranging and music directing, and all of that was based on my experiences there and everything they taught me.
Absolutely. Now, I really appreciate the fact that not only did you study composition and arranging, but my understanding is that you studied music business at Berkeley as well. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
That's
that was not
fantastic.
until much later.
Mm.
Absolutely, I once I had already been in the business, I had been touring and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't know enough about business, so I went on to get my master's degree in from Southern New Hampshire University and Berklee
Mhm.
College of Music. They work in conjunction because Berkeley only does music classes, but I needed
Absolutely.
academic classes from Southern New Hampshire so university. So yeah, I was able to do that and get that done, and so now I'm embarking on my doctorate. I'm any day now, and I'm going to be wrapping that up.
That's excellent. That really
Yeah.
is. Absolutely. You are what we call the quintessential entree musician. That's what the entrepreneurial musician, or as we call it, the entre musician is
Yeah.
always about.
Okay.
Making sure that we understand not only because a lot of musicians get caught up in quote unquote trap that, it's the recording, it's the playing, it's the writing. But when it comes
Yeah.
to signing agreements, when it comes to
Yeah.
the business of
The
music,
business.
many
Yeah.
of our contemporaries fall short there. So,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I feel it important to share, the information that I've learned over the years with, the young women and the young musicians coming along because so many of them just think, okay, all I got to do is practice.
right, right.
But they're at the point now where, okay, now that you're call yourself a professional, you're gigging and you're paying your rent doing music, um, you have to have some other business things in place. And,
Absolutely.
and creating, a budget and a website. And it used to be business cards, but now not so much business cards. Everybody's QR in it.
Right,
But all of
right.
those things, there's so many more things now that a musician has to do to market themselves
Yes,
and let people know who they are and what's going on. You know.
absolutely. Well, you have
Hmm.
been in a plethora, who's who, so to speak, of
Hmm.
music royalty,
Yes.
from not just in the smooth jazz realm, of course, MD for Norman Brown, but
Yeah.
Milli
Hmm.
Vanilli, Morris
Yeah.
Day. Pink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yes,
so
yeah.
so
I was
how
going to
how
say
did
that,
that begin?
yeah,
Um,
I had started out, like I said, with my cousin's band, and we started doing R&B and soul music. So
mhm.
I had that always in my soul. But once I got turned on to Teddy Wilson and Duke Ellington and
Oh,
McCoy Tyner, I had to do that stuff.
yeah.
So I've always carried those styles with me pretty strong. R&B,
Mhm.
jazz, jazz, R&B. We just didn't make enough money playing jazz. We were so glad that smooth jazz came along, so the regular audience could kind of get with it and understand what we were doing. Perhaps it was, you know, they wanted something to groove to, so smooth
Sure.
jazz or contemporary jazz gave
Mhm.
a backbeat to what we call 251, so to
Right,
jazz
right.
chords, you know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so add that groove and or even take pop songs and or soul songs and make them instrumental.
Hmm.
And that was another way to express jazz chops. But yeah, I've always worked on the R&B, soul, and jazz side. So it was natural for me to work with Peabo Bryson or Pink or Patty
Right.
Austin or Ray Parker Jr. or Millie
Yes.
Vanilli.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Paul Jackson Jr., I mean, I think still at this, I mean, he is so underrated as a guitarist. I know he's
Yes,
done tons of session work, but
yes,
just an
yes,
incredible guitarist.
yes. He is. He's absolutely fabulous. I did do many dates with him,
Hmm.
and his running joke was, "Yeah, okay. I wonder if you played that with Norman Brown." Every time I play something, yeah, did you play that with Norman Brown? But yeah, he was a wonderful guy to work with. His family, I just loved them. They just kind of adopted me for a little while there. And
Wow.
but yeah, he's fantastic. He's quintessential musician, studio musician. He reads well.
Yes.
Um, he knows how to take direction, and that's the biggest thing. Some of our young people need to learn. How to take
Mm.
direction without taking it personal,
Sure.
and realize that others have a voice that they can share with you that will it's good for this situation, and you just
Sure.
take it and say, okay, yeah, all right. You may not need
Yeah.
it again, but 9 times out of 10 you will.
Absolutely.
But Paul taught me that, yeah, yeah. No matter how big you get or
Yes.
how well you play, if you don't know how to be a team player or
Right.
be on time or show up at the airport when you're supposed to,
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty of other great, fantastic keyboard players that just never got out of town.
Sure. No, that's
Like
absolutely right.
Smokey Robinson said. Yeah, he said the same thing. Plenty of singers in Detroit that could sing me under the table, but I'm
Yeah.
here.
Right. No, that I understand that completely. And the interesting thing, I just interviewed Robbie Amin, excellent drummer, New York drummer, and has been with everybody from Dave Valentine to Paul Simon to
Mm.
Dizzy Gillespie. And
Oh
so he
wow.
was talking about the aspects and the requirements of being a great studio musician. And the one thing
Mm.
that I really gleaned from that conversation was he said the ability to be invisible,
Mm.
because you have to realize that it's not your date. You don't bring your
Yeah,
ego, you don't bring
yeah,
your chops, you bring
yeah.
what's needed for the song and the
That's
vision
right.
of the producer or the artist and be
That's right.
invisible.
That's right. Yeah, you're there to bring drums to the session, not your ego. That's
That's correct.
correct. But because they called him, there's
Hmm.
something about his essence and his style that
Yeah.
they like, and that's why they called him. So it's a balance of how do I bring what I know best,
Yeah.
and how do I marry it with what the artist needs. So yeah, those are
That's
good
absolutely right.
points.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
what do you prefer? Do you prefer the studio or you prefer the stage? What's is it all
Oh,
wrapped up in one?
Well, actually, I prefer theater. I'm a theater girl.
Uh,
I love directing small orchestra in the pit in the theater, and it's live and it's different every night. So
mm,
I think I prefer the stage. Although I really enjoy recording, I have my own studio. I've
mhm.
invested in over the years, and uh, I don't know. I love them both, but maybe if
Yeah.
I had to say, maybe live.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
this
getting tired of the traveling though,
I
all
can
that.
dig it.
Oh, yeah, geez.
I can dig it. Well, let's talk studio then. What's some of your favorite gear that you rely on to get
Favorite
that Gail
gear? Oh,
Johnson
okay. I
sound?
have,
Yeah.
I love, I work with Cubase. That's my DAW.
Uh-huh.
And I love it. I've learned Logic and I've learned Pro Tools, but
Hmm.
Cubase just has everything that I need for audio recording and for MIDI.
Hmm.
So I like having that flexibility. I use the Nord Lead
Yeah.
3, Performance 3, Stage 3 keyboard. So I like the pianos in there, especially. The organs are nice, but I haven't really got the right organ yet. You know what? I think because I need the Leslie to really make it pop.
Understood.
So yeah, and I have the Yamaha XF8, and I use that, and I have a ton of plugins and
Hmm.
a lot of virtual instruments. So that's good. I'm not. I've been buying some of the software from the gospel producers. So shout out to those guys. They
There you
really
go.
make it simple, and yeah, they really help producers to deliver on things that they need, whether they're backing tracks or
Hmm.
really some cool hip hop drums or something like that.
Yeah.
I get from the gospel producers. They have all kind of stuff, loops and everything. So.
Sure. Sure. So
Mhm.
so those are among your favorite plugins from gospel producers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Splat clat.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. Of course, yeah. Of course, Keyscape. I love Spectrasonics. I love all
Mm,
their stuff.
hmm.
Um, they have good, just overall strings, horns, and pianos and electric pianos and all that. So
Sure.
addictive keys are good. Kicked
Yeah.
it,
Addictive
addictive
drums.
drums. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh-huh. I
That's
like
fantastic.
Behringer the Truth speakers. Those are ones I use now.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so that's enough. I see some people still have that big board. I had that DM3200, the Tascam mixing board,
Oh,
the
right.
digital board. Oh, that thing is so big and it just is about 3 feet, 4 feet wide. I was like, that's just too much.
Right, right.
I could do all the mixing inside the software. So
Certainly.
yeah,
Certainly. Well, what are you using as an interface?
I use a Universal
Yeah.
Apollo Twin. Yeah, I use that, and that works out just fine. I have a new thing for my microphone. Darn, it killed me for the name. Oh, okay, that's it. And it's see
Oh,
this,
man. Yeah.
and so it's what it is. It's a sound booth. So when you sing into it, it just it's like a sound booth. So
Oh,
you don't
wow.
have to have the whole big studio around you. So in a
Understood.
small studio like I have, yeah, and you can
Yeah.
get different color little tabs to go on there and all that stuff. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
this is it, and it controls the sound of your voice really well. I use it for my radio show, and I use it
Hmm.
for when I'm recording my daughters, when they're singing.
Yeah.
So.
So have
Mhm.
you and your daughter and your son done anything and released anything together?
No, my son has passed away now, and
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
yeah, that's something that I
Mm,
I deal with daily.
I see. I
Sometimes
see.
it's a little heavy, but most of the times it's fun because I know he's in the studio making things mess up, like something won't work for no reason, and I know it's him. But
Yeah.
yeah, when he was here, he was a great musician, great producer, and he worked with people like Fergie and
Mm,
uh, different folks that was really happening back in the '90s. And so
Yeah.
And I bought him his first his MPC, and he just took
Oh
that thing
yeah.
and just ran with it. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
I
just ran with it. Yeah.
Yeah. NPC Akai. They made a monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was an
Yes, they
absolute
did.
monster
Yes, they
for
did. And
sure.
mhm.
My
So he
goodness.
played a little keyboards, he played drums, and he's really good as a producer, a rapper. He knew how to bring people together.
Hmm.
And so I have about three CDs of his that he's done of rap music.
Yeah.
So yeah. And my daughter, she sings, she plays piano, she plays a little bit bass and drums.
Hmm.
And so we have I always tell people either my kids play or get out. So I have a rehearsal studio downstairs. I turn my garage into rehearsal studio. I have everything down there: drums, guitar, bass, keyboards, amps, PA system, all of that stuff.
My
So
my.
we have our rehearsals down there. We have jam sessions down there. All kind of things to promote the youth. For my youth programs, they're able to come
Excellent.
over and have guitar lessons or bass lessons or whatever is going on.
Wow. Well,
But
tell us a little
yeah,
more
my
about
daughter
that.
sings well. Hmm?
Tell us a little bit more about the youth program. What's the name of it, and how long has it been running, and
Well,
what's the general purpose?
what I've been, Jazz and Pink presents several programs. One, the biggest one was the toy drive. So we
Mm,
had the toy drive at Christmas, and
mhm.
we put on a concert, and we have guests to bring toys and to get in. We don't charge an entrance fee, but bring a toy, you can get in and watch the concert, and I have other friends and everybody to come and play.
Wow.
And so we've been given to an organization called Operation Love for the past 5 years now. So
Excellent.
we gather up 7, 8, 9 bags of toys, and okay, you can go distribute them. I don't want to do that part. So that's one of the fundraising events that we put together. Another one is our golf challenge.
Mm,
This year will be our third year, so it's the third annual charity golf challenge, and
wow.
that's in Burbank, downtown Burbank, beautiful downtown Burbank.
Yes.
And we have that at the DeBelle Golf Course, and we have a mini jazz concert, a luncheon, vendors, and golfers all across Los Angeles that come and support the golf challenge, and the monies from that we use to support our other programs like the Masquerade Jam, the Masquerade Music Masquerade. So come dressed in your costume and
Right.
jam, for a couple
Right.
hours, and we had some snacks and stuff. Well, we had a girls' guitar jam where I hire one of my buddies to give a guitar lessons, a group guitar lessons. We had a keyboard club, and I have we have a women's wellness where we
Mm,
have that's quarterly where we have a guest speaker talk to women specifically about their
yeah.
their health and wellness. And so many times as women, we're always last. We make sure everybody else is taken care of. But
Sure.
as musicians, we have different issues with our shoulders and, with our fingers and just taking enough vitamins and doing exercise and going to the gym and all that stuff. So that's hosted by Brooke Alford, excuse me. And,
Right.
she heads up a nice panel. She invites various speakers to talk about vitamins and things that we need. So those are some of the programs that we have. I have so many satellite little programs, but I always need funding. I need grants. In fact, I'm looking for a grant writer.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, to help fund these programs, and
Yes.
I know what to do. Even I mentor young vocalists that want to take their song and make it a little better or make their voice a little better
Hmm.
or even production. They want to learn how to how to program drums. How do you program a
Right.
drum beat?
Right.
you
Right.
know and all that stuff, so I can teach everything about production. um
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, before we get into the nuts and bolts of Jazz and Pink, the group, again, not to name drop everybody that you've actually recorded and performed with, but I want to ask you a two-part question, heads or tails. In your experience since going professional, leaving Berklee, moving to LA, and starting on your career, what has been the most rewarding experience and what has been the most challenging experience for you?
The most rewarding is maybe Jazz and Pink performing at the Hollywood Bowl.
Wow.
That was very, very rewarding. I was like, okay, and also traveling around the world. I remember we were on this pickup, this flatbed truck, and the gentleman was driving across the beach, and there was not a footprint in sight. And I just started crying. I was like, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you for the piano lessons." Because music brought me here. I'm here
Yes.
because I'm playing music and because I practiced, I stayed with it, I believed in it. And so I think that's been very rewarding. Moving to LA just opened up a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have had. I
Hmm.
may not have had.
Hmm. Yes.
Um, the hardest thing is, oof, LA is expensive. you know, before I used to worry about, oh my gosh, how am I gonna pay for this? How am I gonna pay for that? Then after a while, I just stopped worrying.
Mm.
Everything's going to be taken care of, and I will. My prayers that I always have enough. I always have what I
Yes.
need to take care of things. So, and it's kind of difficult to handle the band. Over 16 years now with Jazz and Pink, we've had about at least 100 women.
Wow.
So all of these different personalities and different things going on and in and out and in. So just managing, everybody and trying to get along and trying to see eye to eye and learning from them too. And,
Sure.
trying to, just trying to make a legacy and trying to leave an impact and I'm trying to do something important.
Yes.
I come from a family of sisters, so there's no doubt that I would form a band of sisters. I guess that's my comfort zone.
Certainly. Certainly. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that a little bit. How Jazz and Pink began. And I know you told a little bit of that on our sister show, Artist Impact, but the nucleus of what began and your vision for it. We know the sisters are in the background, your biological sisters, but then this legacy that you're leaving, what is the big, gigantic statement that you're making because of these wonderful sisters you've brought together from all over the world?
Mm. Well, our tagline is "Women Making Music a Choice," uh, and I remind our audiences that we have moms, we're carpoolers, we're musicians, we're wives. So that if women want to have a career in music, they can. They have to just do the balancing act, pay their dues, and just make it happen. And it's possible, especially through a platform like Jazz and Pink. We got started back in 2008 because I was on a cruise, actually with Norman Brown. I think it was a smooth jazz cruise. And in one of the lounges was a flautist, Althea Renee. And I was like, look at this chick. She's so bad. But all of this time, I mean, I had been on the road 10, 15 years with Norman by then, and I hadn't seen any other women musicians. It was
Wow.
always women vocalists or a
Hmm.
vocalist that played the piano, something like that, but never a flautist, a singer, a saxophonist, or a vibraphonist. No woman I saw playing anything else. And I finally saw a drummer with Chris Bodie, a female drummer, and I was like, "Oh, wow, how you doing?" And and then I got to meet from the cruises. I got to meet like Candy Dolfer, and of course she's from overseas. But
Right.
I knew there were more sisters out there doing what me and out there was doing. And I was like, girl, let's get together. We need to
Mm.
talk. Let's have lunch tomorrow. We need to find a way to have more representation in jazz on these stages, on cruises like this,
Yes.
And so we met the next day, and we met up with another lady named Keena Hubbard, and she was from San Diego, and we got to talking. She handled the business, and Althea was talking about the music, and I came up with the title Jazz in Pink, and Althea said, "Yeah, let's do it." So I put the word out once I got back to LA. Okay, Jazz in Pink. I was really looking for artists that already had albums, that already were recording, that were already ready, stage ready for what I knew cats like Norman Brown, Joel Albright, what they were already doing. I wanted to find
Sure.
a female counterparts to that.
Sure.
But as it turned out, the word got out, and I play guitar. I want to play. I play drums. I want to play. I play. So I found all of a sudden, by the time it was done, we had an all female band, and I didn't care who backed us up. It was just going to be whoever was the front, leading
Right.
artist. I was thinking, three or four of us, but it ended up being all females, and it was just wonderful. Lynn Piedmont, vocalist, and she played percussion too. I was like, oh my goodness, look at that. Lynn, oh God, red shoes. Oh, I forget her last name. Anyway, she played bass, and of course we had the powerhouse Karen Briggs on violin. She and I have been friends for years and years, and everything just really started coming together. Robin Bramlett on the bass, and we were supposed to have Cora on the drums. Cora Coleman, Queen Cora. She played with
Yeah.
Prince, but at the last minute, she had to go and rehearse with Prince somewhere, and so I was really disappointed. So on our very first gig, we ended up having one drummer, and he was fantastic. So we had one guy in the band, but all the rest
In
of
the
us were
whole
all
history. In the whole
yeah,
history,
yeah,
one guy. Yeah.
yeah. We had one boy. Yeah, we had saxophone, and then of course we had harpist Maria Antoinette. She lived right there in San Diego. That was my first time meeting her,
Wow.
and now she is just like a powerhouse. She was playing weddings and stuff like On the Wings of Love and all that kind of stuff. Now she's
Sure.
playing Curtis Mayfield, and she got dancers, and she got a string quartet behind her. So she was really, really inspired with the Jazz and Pink concept, and she just
Right.
took and ran with it. Of course, Althea Renee, she's been doing her thing. She used to be a sheriff in Detroit, but
Mm.
when she decided to do music, she took all that energy into her music. But she come from a musical family. Her father was one of the Funk Brothers.
Oh
So
wow. Gee.
yeah, so she was already into it and already ready to go. It was just now a matter of just recording, getting on a label, and getting radio promoters, and getting agents and all these other things. So Jazz and Pink was just got a buzz, and everybody, all these pieces started coming together for everyone. And so that's what I'm proud about, that we were able to attract the attention that we needed, that we deserved, and
Wow.
and make it happen. So yeah, so now we've been on just about every major festival in the world,
Yes.
in the islands across America, and we've had musicians from the East Coast to the West Coast. So
That's so beautiful. Now, are
yeah,
you still with 100 women that has really stepped onto the platform of Jazz
well,
and Pink? Are you
I had to do taxes for 25 this year.
okay?
So yeah, so every year, folks may come and go, but our average band is anywhere from 5 to 8 persons. So
Okay.
if the bass player can't make it, we can get another bass player. And if that bass player play with us 2, 3, 4 times a year, that's great.
Oh, gotcha.
And sometimes if the sax player isn't available, we get another sax player, or we get a trumpet player.
Hmm.
Vocals, if one of our lead singers, if she can't attend, she's got something else going on. We have my daughter, my goddaughter, and they're called Blended by God.
Oh
And
yeah, I saw that on your website.
yeah, yeah. So we have enough to interchange where everybody can keep their solo career, go make where the most money is.
Yeah.
But we have pretty good gigs. So everybody, try to break our necks to do the jazz and pink gigs first. You know. Yeah.
That's That's absolutely excellent. I mean, what an incredible project and an incredible sound that you have. The stuff that you sent me, and I'm fast becoming a fan. It's only been 3 days, I think, since the taping of Artist
Yeah.
Impact, but I've really been trying to find more information from you on the internet and
Hmm.
online. And so
Yeah.
grateful to know you and to have met you and to hear your story, and
Yeah.
so grateful for the time that you've spent with us today. I would
Mm.
ask, though, I mean, because you're mentoring so many different women
Yeah.
involved in these projects, what is the one thing that you constantly is key to you to mentoring a young woman coming into this business to be the next Gail Johnson? If you could tell her what you knew at 24, say, when you were
Oh,
stepping
yeah.
out, what would you say to that young lady?
I would say to her, just build up your leadership skills.
Mm,
I think that's the most important thing. And a leader is not somebody just boss folks around. Leader is the first one to listen, but
very
the
true.
first one to take care of business too, and be on top of things. If you say you're going to do something, you schedule yourself. Find ways that to keep yourself on top of things that's going on, because everyone has got all this and everybody's pulling on you because they're all so talented. So they say, can you do this and can you do that? So I say definitely stay on top of your business. Read books on leadership. I share those as I get them. The latest one is the 48 Laws of Nature. That's kind of that's a really good book. And also take care of your health.
Yes.
I hated going to the gym. I was like, why are you wasting your time in the gym? Just clean your house. You can bend up and down doing that. But I realized later the importance of the gym.
Right,
As
right.
kids, we get out there and we just make friends and we swing and pull and jump and all this stuff. And then once we get in our world and we're in the studio for 6 hours, we're not doing all that interacting and pushing and pulling. So
That's right.
I think that's real important for us to keep ourselves healthy and to show. Not everybody needs to start a band or even make music a career. It could be just a side thing, whatever. But you use music to make you happy, and
Yes.
of course, use it to keep yourself young. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
music keeps us young. So I always surround myself with young people as we go along. They come and go, and I need some of my seasoned sisters too because they help keep the other ones in line.
That's right.
Can you go over there and talk to baby girl for me? But
Yes.
yeah, that's what I would say. Take care of your health, and take care of your mental health too.
Definitely.
Don't get too disappointed if you're not selected for something or audition doesn't happen. It just wasn't meant for you this time. Maybe something else better is coming along. So,
That's right.
uh, mhm.
That's right. Now, so you have a radio show, and what's the
Yeah,
title of the radio show, and where is that playing?
that's the Pink Room, and it's on Solar Radio. They're actually a station out of London, and so
Mm,
they service London, Ireland, and Scotland, I think. But
excellent.
it's called the Pink Room, and it airs for 2 hours every week on Sunday at 6 p.m. on the West Coast
Hmm.
and 9 p.m. on the East Coast and 2 a.m. on Monday morning in the UK.
Gotcha.
So I play 2 hours of jazz, neo soul, vocals, smooth ear candy.
Hmm.
Um, I like to mix it up. I
Yeah.
uh, I love. You mentioned Bobby Humphrey earlier.
Yeah.
Me and out there the Catalina Jazz Festival one year, and I paid homage to Patrice Rushen, and she paid homage to Bobby Humphrey, and we played some of their songs, and we just sat on the stools and we were just talking to people like I'm talking to you now and about what we've been doing. So that was real nice. But I reached back and I played both of those artists. They're definitely my sheroes, and yeah.
That's
Mhm.
fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, doing all that you do as far as publicity is concerned, so you've been on podcasts and in these interviews, and perhaps when I asked you, and I thank you again for coming on at short notice, but when I asked you to come on to this platform, you were probably thinking, well, there's a question that all of the interviewers asked me, and for some reason, I haven't asked. And we call, is there something that you want to give an answer to, an unasked question that you are normally asked, but I didn't ask it?
Right. Maybe. Well, this is a question that I ask my audiences because it's like you guys, a thousand guitar players, but I'll ask you, can you name me one jazz lady guitar player? Or can you name me one jazz lady piano player? You may know Sarah Vaughan as a vocalist, but you don't know her as a piano player. You don't know Carmen McRae as a piano player. You
Wow.
may know Mary Lou Williams, maybe. You may know the what Mary Harden from the Sweethearts of Rhythm,
Mm,
with Louis Armstrong. So I would say that's the thing I want my audiences to start looking up some female musicians, because they've done so many wonderful contributions over the years.
right.
And we got so many new young women that are coming up that is they're just ridiculous. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
wow, oh my goodness. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's the thing. I think just maybe school yourself on some more female musicians that are doing things. I'm discovering someone new all the time. Man, we have one of my favorite guitar players is Beth Marlis,
Mm,
and I believe she's the president over at Musicians Institute. I taught
wow.
there for about 11, 12 years,
Mhm.
but she's a fantastic guitarist, and but I'm not sure if she's a an artist that has been putting out CDs and been doing her own shows. She's been playing with me for the Palm Springs Women in Jazz.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to do that again this year. And I get a chance to meet ladies like Sonny Paxton and, of course, Diane Shore. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, I just met Hope Diamond.
Oh wow.
And so I'll get to meet some more divas in the desert. So that would be my question. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many women artists do you know? I mean, we can name. Can you name one female drummer?
Right. Right.
Right.
I was
Well, you
wondering
can
how.
probably name one. You can probably name Sheila E. Right?
Well, Sheila, of course, yes.
Yeah.
But
But we
Terry
don't
Lynn,
think of her as a drummer first. We
she's
think of her
percussionist,
percussion
yeah.
and
But she's
then
a
drum. But
she's a
she can
heck of a
play some
drummer.
drum. Yes, she
Absolutely.
is.
But
Yeah.
Terry Lynn Carrington is another
Yeah. There you
outstanding
go.
drummer. You know.
Yes, she
Well,
is. Yeah.
I'm a drummer, so it's unfair to ask me
Yes.
that
Yes. So
question.
you would know. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
telling you,
ma'am.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. We have a drummer here in LA. Her name is Dee Simone, and she's
Mm,
actually from San Francisco, and she really is a high drummer. She really is really she keeps good time and just real imaginative. And
yeah.
of course, like I mentioned, Queen Core on drums.
Mhm.
She's wow, fantastic. And so people have been telling me about different ladies. We did have a Black Women in Jazz award show,
Oh wow.
and that's been some years ago now. And that's been maybe 4 or 5 years ago out of Atlanta. And
Hmm.
so we got to meet each other, kind of. So I won, several awards, but I didn't go to the award show to get to really interface with the different women. But everybody had to vote and all that kind of stuff. That was good. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. I was wondering though, have you, and I'm sure the answer is yes, but I couldn't find any information online as to whether or not you had crossed paths with Climax.
Oh,
I'm sure
absolutely.
you've been. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I met them when I first came to Los Angeles, and they were in the studio recording. Um, well, actually, their producer was in this. I was in the studio with their producer, and I got to meet Bernadette, and
yeah,
that was yeah. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I loved what they were doing, but they were more R&B pop music, and my heart
yeah,
was in jazz, even though I was out here,
gotcha.
working with Morris Day. So that's
Sure.
how our paths, on the R&B circuit kind of
Hmm.
crossed. But yeah, absolutely. They have been holding it down for a long time, and
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, we're going to get a chance to play together finally in
Good.
Dallas. And yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And yeah, and another
Yeah.
group called Triple Threat.
Triple threat. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah. So
all ladies group.
all ladies again. Teresa Grayson, I believe, is the leader, and she plays soprano saxophone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
what about
yeah,
Third
this will really
Eye?
be great. Hmm?
Third Eye, the band that was
Oh, I don't
backing
know
up
Third
Prince.
Eye.
Yeah, they were backing up Prince, the three ladies that were backing him up
Oh,
a
oh
year or
yeah.
two
Well,
before his passing.
yeah, Prince has always been an advocate for women in music.
Definitely. Rosie
One of our
Gaines.
guitar players, Kat Dyson, she played with him for years, and of course, the keyboard player Cassandra O'Neill that I played with Sheila, a wonderful, I mean, just dynamite piano player. And so I never, I didn't meet Wendy and Lisa, but of course I knew about them. But of course Sheila played with Prince,
Sure.
and yeah, but yeah, he's been a strong advocate for women in music. In fact, when I was in Minneapolis and we did the tribute to Prince, we rehearsed it where he used to rehearse. It was a small
Wow.
theater, and he got kind of turned into kind of an after school program where kids could come and
Mhm.
do their homework, have snacks and stuff, and then in the big room, the theater was a stage and all that good stuff. So I got to finally be a part of the Prince legacy, by recording in actually in one of his studios and
Wow.
actually
Yes.
having a tour of Paisley Park. So
So
yeah, yeah, it was.
let's stay there for a half a second. What's it like then working with Morris Day and being a part of his band? What's
Oh,
is
I
that
was wearing
as
eight hundred
fun as
dollars
it
worth of.
looks?
I was wearing $800 worth of clothes and jewelry and shoes every night. It was wonderful because he was class and he was style and he was about the music and he was about drive and energy and so it was infectious. In fact, he adopted one of the steps I gave him. I gave him a little step to do, and he did, But it was great. It was great working with Morris when I first came
Yeah.
to LA and I auditioned. That was wonderful. I came back home, the family gave me a party and all that stuff. I came back to LA, blah, blah, we start rehearsing. And then all of a sudden I got sick. I got real
Oh,
sick. I got
oh
really,
no.
really sick. I had to be in the hospital. And so, everybody was like, wondering what in the world was wrong with me. But they thought I was on drugs. I was like,
Oh
drugs?
my.
What that? Doing
My.
no doggone drugs? I think I ate something at a particular fast food restaurant that made me very, very sick.
Wow.
And so I was so glad I got well and they held on and they waited for me to get well and I was out of there. Next thing I know, I was at practice again and we went on the road and that was the best. It really was. The guys were great. Kurt Viscara on drums. You know him. He
Hmm.
he went on to play with some other big rock groups.
Oh no,
And
I didn't
of
know.
course, Boney James was playing keys and
Oh really?
saxophone. Yeah, on Gigolos Get Lonely too.
Really?
That's Boney playing.
Man, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, yeah. So me and Boney played keys, and Boney said, "Look, Morris, I play saxophone." He was like, "You do?" So he played the, Morris would serenade the girl, and
Yeah,
Boney
yeah.
would play the saxophone. Of course, the girl always took a sip of the champagne before Morris told her to take a sip. Oh God, that was always the joke to see if the girl was going to just wait. So, they do the toast.
You know what's interesting? I find interesting in Morris's history as I followed him is that, as a musician, he can be underrated. He's a very serious musician. He's serious about the music,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
because of the role that
he's
he
a
had to
drummer.
play, yeah, absolutely. But
Mhm.
because of the role that he had to play and the way the persona is in the Purple Rain movie and whatnot, he seems more of a caricature, but he's a bona fide musician,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
not
he's
many
a
people
bon-
give him credit for that.
yes, yes. I don't think many people have seen him really play.
Yeah,
I think maybe, back in the day, like us, we were teenagers, and we were
yeah,
messing around, on our instruments, and we didn't know which one would be the serious, which one, to finally. A lot of people say, yeah, I started playing piano, then I ended up doing trumpet. So
sure.
he started on drums and ended up being lead vocalist. So
Right.
um, yeah, but yeah, he's a good. I saw one video where finally one of his kids played an instrument. So
Mm.
I'll have to go snooping around again to see if they posted anything else. And but yeah, yeah. That was a lot of fun,
Absolutely.
and got to meet Prince and of course Michael Jackson and all the Janet and all of them, and Terry and Jimmy and the whole
Sure.
Vanity, all of them. I got to meet all of those folks, and so I just knew, okay, I done made the big time now. uh, After the
Absolutely.
tour is over, it's like, duh, you're back at ground zero. What you gonna do now? Well, it's okay. Well, let's go audition for Tina Marie. Okay, let's go
There
audition for
you
Jeffrey
go.
Osborne. Okay, let's go audition for Al Jarreau. Okay,
That's
so
right.
you know,
You reinvent yourself constantly.
yes, you have to constantly reinvent yourself now, and so now I look around and. I used to be the baby in the band. I used to be the youngest one in the band, and now I look around. I got all the babies. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's my turn now to be the leader.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
That's right. Well, you're doing it well, Gail. You have much respect from us here who are learning you, and I'm sure that those who will be watching this podcast and listening to it who do not know, maybe they've heard your music with all of the acts that you've named already, and they've heard your playing, but did not know who you are. And so I
Yeah.
thank you for allowing us to introduce you to some more people around this way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I also want to let you know, yeah, we got a new single coming out, and
Mm.
so I'm waiting for that to drop any time now once they are
All right.
approved the artwork. Also, I'm working on a gospel record with my
Excellent.
church, First Baptist Church of North Hollywood. So we got everybody in the church that can sing
Yeah.
on the record, and some friends, and so we're looking to finish that, and that's good. The San Pedro Music Festival is coming up later this year. The
Hmm.
Palm Springs Women in Jazz coming up later this year.
Wow.
We're so going to Jamaica for a little tour later this year. So we, we're doing some things, trying to stay
Yeah, you're
busy.
doing some things. You're doing some
Yeah,
things.
I'm waiting for my doctorate. I gotta. I should be wrapping that up in May. So, you know, life is good right now.
That's absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm so grateful that you gave us your time today. And I'm
You're
sure and
welcome.
hopefully, I'm just speaking this, but hopefully this is not our last conversation, that you'll come back onto this platform again and we can
Oh
call
yeah,
you
absolutely. Yeah, maybe
we'll
next
call
time
you
I'll bring the girls.
that would be fantastic. We'll call you
Yeah.
Dr. Gail Johnson of
Oh
Berklee
yeah, it'll be
College.
Doctor then. Oh yes, oh
Fantastic. Well, blessings
yeah.
to you, and thank you again for joining us. And I knew that you would enjoy this conversation. Wasn't that wonderful? Gail, she has just such a wonderful spirit. She's done so many incredible things and is still on point. Now, we'll see what this next chapter unfolds when she becomes Dr. Gail Johnson. But you go to jazzandpink.com, learn all you can, listen to all you can. Great band, great project, great legacy. So, I always say, listen, you got to like, share this video or this podcast with about 12 people you know and 14 people you don't. Tell them you get down with the Entre Musician. My name is Jerry B. I am the Entre Musician, but most importantly, so are you. We will see you again next time. God bless.